Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and to this long running project of the P51. So the wing is, I would say, pretty much complete in terms of structure. I've sanded leading edges and trailing edges. There's still more sanding to be done. It's a constant process. What I've done, I've repurposed the landing gear, the wires, I've cut out some pieces, and I've put in also some reinforcements on each of the wings, so this will go in somehow like this, and at least for static display, so when it's standing on the ground at least it'll have some wheels to stand on. I'll still paint this probably in grey, as it's going to be on the bottom side of the plane, so that's probably then the next step. And then the other thing that I've done also on the wing is I've cut out the aileron. I had drawn out the ailerons according to the plan, but then also reading the comments from Cliff, I decided to expand them a little bit more, so they're a little bit bigger than scale, and hopefully will have enough effect. So I think it's okay going to be the size. I've closed off this part because it needs to be closed off so that I can put in the tissue on it. So I actually enjoyed making this piece somehow to shape. And then the next step is going to be to complete the aileron itself, the moving part, which for that I need to make two parts, like the end ribs, and then also the cut off. I've got it drawn here. I don't know if you can see it, if it focuses. I've drawn where I'm going to cut at the angle that it has a space to cut down. There's the old line, in some places you can see it. I don't know if you can focus. There's an old line and there's the new line. So I've expanded it significantly in size. Let's hope it's enough. So anyhow, got to build up the aileron and then make sure it fits in nicely and snug there, and then do the same with the other side. And with that, I believe the wing will be actually done in terms of structure. Just the tissue will be needed, horns and things like that, and the cabling. I've got the gaps in there for the servos and things like that. So I think the wing is close to completion. After that, I suppose it's going to be either the tail or the fuselage. So let's see. Anyhow, I hope that on this one then we have some moving ailerons that are then looking good and effective. That's the plan for this chapter. And time for an update. So landing gear struts kind of done. You see here the wire that I've embedded into the wood. Somehow when I was putting on the glue, the normal white glue, I have the feeling that the rods actually rusted in place, which is interesting just with the glue. But anyhow, I painted over, so this is going to be the inside, that's the outside, just decoration as I mentioned. The wheels actually the good ones that I got for the retracts, but as I don't have any other particular use, I'll probably use them for this. Actually quite nice wheels, I kind of like these. What else have I been up to? Yes, so I've cut out the ailerons. I think I've already showed you this, and I've built up the structure. I still have to do some sanding so that it fits in smoothly, as you can see here. So that's one aileron and the other one is also done. Movement, I think it should have enough, and I have left, due to experience, enough wiggle room there, because with the tissue and everything sometimes things get stuck. Maybe I need to sand this still a little bit more. I've also built in a frame here because this is where the servo will go, so then the tissue can actually cover all around. Still leave a bit of a gap there. I was toying with the idea of making kind of a flap that can be opened and things like that, but that's probably too much. So I'm just going to leave this like this, put the tissue, and then the servo will go in there, which is probably one of the next steps to do. And what else? Also landing gear, I think I did show you this. Landing gear struts or supports are here. It should all fit in here. And also then on the ailerons, I've put in this sheet of wood where I need to build in then the horns. I sometimes make the horns out of wood, out of ply, but I looked in my stash and I do have some of these white plastic horns, which I think are good, and I think this is it's a good size. These, they'll fit on this, so I'll use them. Why not? They're not expensive either, so I'll use them. I'll need to do some trimming of the screws probably and things like that, so it's going to be a little bit more of maybe some other tools. I need to take out the rotary cutter and things like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. I'll put this on. I need to do also the hinges. I need to figure out what hinges to use. I'll probably go with the typical hinges I use and then install the servos and everything, maybe do the test on that in preparation then for the final sanding and tissue. But tissue will be probably then another chapter. So let me continue with this and I'll show you the progress I have before wrapping up. And time to wrap up the video, because I believe that the structure of the wing is already completed. I've got it on the stands. I put on the landing gear. The wheels are unfixed because I might still do my own wheels, but here now it's relatively straightforward. Once it's done, I would put some separators, some thread, some super glue, put the wheel on. Just dropped another one, being clumsy as always, but anyhow, so the wheels can all go in. This actually just slides in and out, so I'll leave it in there for the moment. Let me pick up the other wheel. And more importantly, the whole structure of the ailerons is done. Let's see if I can put it there. I have, let's see if you can see it. So I had to trim off the little screws from the horns. Let's see if you can see the horns from there, from underneath. There they are. Let's see if it focuses. Put on the wire, put on the servos. The servos are already glued in place. They still need a screw to hold in the servo arm in there. But I did do a test before gluing, so I'm hoping that this now works. And I've got here my servo tester. Connector side up. It wouldn't be the first time I blow up a servo, and I don't want to do it again. And now I can connect here 2 servos, up to 3 servos I think I can do. And let's see if you can see it. Let's see, I don't know if you can see the other side, but yeah, you can maybe. You see, so this is then the movement. Oh, one got stuck. So they do move in the right direction. Then the 2 servos would be connected with a Y cable, and then they would go to the receiver, right? But that is then for later on. The hinges are not yet glued in place. They're just set in place, because then the next step is going to be to take it apart and do the whole tissue covering. But the whole structure is there and working. So the next, as I say, is going to be another sanding session, researching again for the colors to make sure that I settle down on what colors I want to use for the model, and find tissue and start with the tissue covering. So that's, the wing is done, let's say it like that, which is good, because then after the tissue covering, which is maybe not such an easy part, then will be also the rewarding part of the fuselage and the challenging part of the electronics and things like that. In any case, thank you as always for following along on this one, and I'll see you next time.